Close your eyes for just a moment. Imagine standing on the very edge of a cliff, looking down into a bottomless, perfectly silent ocean. Now open your eyes and look up. That ocean is right above you. It is the universe. For decades, we have looked at the stars and felt a sense of peace. But new, raw images from the James Webb Space Telescope show something terrifying. They show a universe that is alive, violent, and unimaginably immense. Yet there is a strange comfort in this terror. In the face of such absolute vastness, all our earthly worries simply vanish. Tonight, we are going to dive into these raw, terrifying images. We will let the sheer scale of the cosmos wash over us. Breathe in deeply. Let us step off the edge of the earth together. To truly understand what we are looking at, we must first understand the eye that sees it. The James Webb Space Telescope is not like an ordinary camera. It sits 1,000,000 miles away from our warm, noisy planet, suspended in the freezing vacuum. Its giant golden mirrors are designed to capture infrared light. This is a type of light that human eyes can never see. For all of human history, a thick curtain of cosmic dust hid the deepest secrets of the universe from us. We thought the dark patches of the sky were just empty space. But James Webb pierces right through that dust. It sees the heat of dying stars. It sees the birth of galaxies. The raw images it sends back are entirely black and white, pure data from the void. Before scientists add beautiful colors to them, these raw files look like ghostly X-rays of the cosmos. They reveal a skeletal universe. And that is where the true, terrifying majesty begins. Let us begin with the illusion of emptiness, a terrifying revelation hidden in the dark. We often look at the black patches between stars and think there is nothing there. It is a common myth that space is just an empty vacuum. But James Webb's deep-field images shatter this comforting lie. When the telescope stared into a tiny, seemingly blank patch of sky, it did not find emptiness. It found thousands of glowing galaxies. Imagine taking a single grain of sand, holding it at arm's length against the night sky. That tiny speck is the size of the deep-field image. And inside that single grain of sand are millions of supermassive black holes, exploding stars, and trillions of planets. The sheer density of the universe is overwhelming. It is terrifying to realize there is no empty space, only space we could not see. But what hides behind the dust? The raw images of the pillars of creation offer a haunting answer. We have seen these pillars before in visible light, looking like majestic, peaceful clouds of cotton. But Webb's raw infrared data strips away the soft clouds. It shows us the violent, terrifying reality of a stellar nursery. These are not peaceful clouds. They are towering storms of scorching gas, light years tall. Look closely at the tips of these cosmic fingers. You will see bright, glowing red dots. These are protostars, baby stars, violently tearing their way out of their dusty cocoons. The raw images make the pillars look like skeletal fingers reaching through the dark. It is a reminder that creation in the universe is not gentle. It is a terrifying, explosive struggle for existence. Let us drift further out, into the twisted webs of the cosmos. The Tarantula Nebula is a name that sounds frightening, and Webb's raw images prove it is well earned. In visible light, it looks like a glowing smudge. But Webb reveals a monstrous structure. It looks exactly like a giant, glowing spider web made of cosmic silk. Imagine a web so large it takes light hundreds of years to cross it. At the center of this web lies a cluster of the most massive stars ever discovered. Their intense radiation is violently blowing away the gas around them, carving out a massive cavern in the nebula. The raw data shows the shock waves like ripples in a pond of dark matter. It is a terrifying display of raw power, a web where entire solar systems are caught and formed. Now we witness the ghosts of the universe. The Southern Ring Nebula is a mesmerizing example of cosmic death. Many people believe that when a star dies, it simply fades away or explodes instantly. But the raw Webb images show a much slower, more haunting process. This is a dying star expelling its outer layers over thousands of years. The raw image looks like a glowing, pulsating jellyfish swimming in an ocean of black ink. You can see concentric rings of gas expanding outward, each ring representing a separate, violent spasm of the dying star. It is a graveyard in motion. As you watch this slow-motion death, remember that our own sun will one day create a ghost just like this. It is a terrifying destiny, yet undeniably beautiful. What happens when galaxies collide? Stefan's quintet shows us the beautiful terror of cosmic crashes. 5 giant galaxies are locked in a fatal gravitational dance. From Earth, it looks like a still photograph. But Webb's raw infrared eyes see the violent truth. It sees the massive shock waves generated as one galaxy smashes through the group at millions of miles per hour. Imagine 2 oceans made of stars crashing into one another. The raw data highlights long, sweeping tails of gas and dust being ripped away from the galaxies. Millions of stars are being thrown out into the cold void, orphaned forever. It destroys the myth of a static, peaceful universe. We are looking at a cosmic car crash, frozen in a terrifying, magnificent instant of time. Let us turn our gaze to the cosmic cliffs. The Carina Nebula looks like a breathtaking mountain range, but do not be fooled by its beauty. This is a landscape carved by extreme radiation. The raw images show ultraviolet light from massive young stars physically eroding the nebula like a hurricane tearing through a sandcastle. The towering peaks of dust are miles high, hiding newborn stars within their dark cores. Imagine standing at the base of a cliff made entirely of gas, stretching trillions of miles into the sky. Above you, brilliant, terrifying stars bombard the cliff with radiation. It is a hostile, terrifying environment where humanity could never survive. Yet, from our safe distance, it looks like a masterpiece painted by the cosmos. We must now face the phantom of the deep. The Cartwheel Galaxy presents a terrifying scar. Millions of years ago, a smaller galaxy punched straight through the center of a larger one. The raw Webb images show the aftermath of this cosmic bullet. It looks like a giant wheel of fire expanding in the dark. The inner core is glowing with the extreme heat of compressed dust, while the outer ring is a shockwave triggering the birth of new stars. It is a terrifying thought. A whole galaxy, containing billions of planets, violently pierced and permanently deformed. The raw data strips away the soft, visible light, showing the rigid, skeletal spokes of dust connecting the core to the outer ring. It is a permanent monument to cosmic violence. But what of the worlds hiding in the dark? Webb is not just looking at stars, it is looking at the air of alien worlds. WASP 96b is an exoplanet, a world far from our solar system. We cannot see its surface, but Webb can read its atmosphere. The raw data is a simple line graph, but its implications are terrifying. It shows the unmistakable signature of water vapor. Imagine a world completely unlike Earth, a massive boiling gas giant where the clouds are made of scalding water, moving at supersonic speeds. It shatters the myth that water means a peaceful, Earth-like paradise. On this alien world, water is part of a terrifying, hostile storm. It makes us realize how fragile and lucky our quiet blue planet truly is. There are monsters lurking behind the dust. Deep in the centers of galaxies lie supermassive black holes. A common myth is that black holes are just cosmic vacuums, instantly sucking up everything. But Webb's raw images show them as patient, messy eaters. When a black hole feeds, it does not do so quietly. The raw infrared light pierces through the dense dust surrounding these black holes, revealing intense rings of superheated material circling the drain. These are accretion disks, glowing brighter than millions of suns combined. The raw data shows jets of pure energy shooting out from the poles of the black holes, cutting through the galaxy like incredibly powerful lasers. They are terrifying engines of destruction, yet they also regulate the growth of their entire host galaxy. Let us wander away from the light. One of the most terrifying discoveries is the existence of rogue planets. Webb's sensitive eyes have spotted dozens of them hiding in the Orion Nebula. These are massive planets, as large as Jupiter, that do not orbit any star. They were violently kicked out of their solar systems during their birth. Now, they wander alone in the absolute freezing darkness of interstellar space. Imagine being on the surface of a world with no sun. A permanent, endless night where the only light comes from distant, cold stars. The raw data shows them as faint, dying embers cooling down in the vast ocean of nothingness. They are lonely, terrifying ghosts drifting through the galaxy, completely untethered from gravity's warm embrace. Look closely at the phantom galaxies. M74 is a spiral galaxy facing us directly. In normal telescopes, it looks like a bright, fluffy pinwheel. But Webb's raw infrared image is deeply unsettling. It strips away all the starlight, leaving only the cold dust and gas. The result looks exactly like a giant glowing skeleton floating in space. You can see the intricate cobweb-like structures of the spiral arms winding down into the dense, bright core. It is terrifying because it reveals the hidden anatomy of a galaxy. It shows that beneath the bright, cheerful starlight, galaxies are bound together by cold, dark veins of matter. It is a mesmerizing, hypnotic spiral that pulls your eyes toward the center of the abyss. Let us confront the illusion of time. When we look through the James Webb Space Telescope, we are not looking at the universe as it is today. We are looking at ghosts. Light takes time to travel. The deeper we look, the further back in time we see. The raw images of the most distant galaxies show them as they were over 13 billion years ago. Those galaxies may no longer exist. The stars in them have long since died. The raw data appears as tiny red smeared dots. It is terrifying to realize we are staring at a cemetery. The light hitting the telescope mirrors right now is an ancient echo of a universe that is forever gone. We are literally watching the past unfold, unable to touch it or change it. Have you ever seen a star fail? Brown dwarfs are celestial objects that blur the line between planets and stars. They are too big to be planets, but they did not have enough mass to ignite nuclear fusion and become true stars. Webb's raw infrared vision picks up their faint, desperate heat. They are cosmic failures, doomed to slowly cool and fade away over billions of years. Imagine a giant sphere of gas, swirling with violent storms, glowing a dull, angry red, alone in the dark. It is a terrifyingly lonely existence. They wander the galaxy as heavy, dark masses, emitting just enough heat for Webb to spot them. They remind us that the universe is full of almost stars, silently watching from the shadows. Now imagine a cosmic fingerprint in the sky. The Wolf-Rayet 140 system provides a truly bizarre and terrifying raw image. It shows a brilliant star surrounded by perfect, glowing geometric rings. It looks like a giant cosmic target or ripples in a pond. But these rings are made of pure, scorching dust. They are created because two massive stars are orbiting each other. Every time they pass close together, their intense stellar winds collide, crushing gas into solid dust rings that get blown out into space. The raw data shows at least 17 of these perfect, terrifying rings expanding into the void. It is a giant clock in the sky, ticking away the centuries through violent collisions of wind. We must also look at our own cosmic backyard. The James Webb Space Telescope turned its golden eye toward Neptune. The raw images were breathtaking and incredibly eerie. We are used to seeing Neptune as a simple blue marble, But in infrared, the planet glows faintly, while its hidden rings shine brilliantly. It shatters the myth that Saturn is the only beautiful ringed planet. The raw image shows Neptune suspended like a pale ghost, surrounded by bright, ethereal bands of ice and dust. We can even see its strange moon, Triton, glowing brighter than the planet itself. It is terrifying to realize that even in our own solar system, there are massive, glowing structures hiding in plain sight, completely invisible to the naked eye. Let us pierce through the smog of an alien moon. Titan is Saturn's largest moon, shrouded in a thick orange haze. Normal cameras cannot see its surface, but Webb's infrared raw data cuts straight through the atmosphere. It reveals terrifyingly familiar features on a completely alien world. It sees vast clouds of methane gas drifting across the sky. Underneath those clouds are massive lakes and oceans, but they are not made of water. They are filled with liquid methane and ethane, freezing cold and deadly to life as we know it. Imagine standing on a beach, listening to the waves of liquid natural gas lapping against the shore under a thick, glowing orange sky. It is a beautiful, deeply terrifying reflection of our own planet. Consider the invisible weight of the dark. One of the most terrifying things Webb has proven is the overwhelming presence of dark matter. We cannot see it, not even in infrared, but the raw images show its ghostly footprint. Through a process called gravitational lensing, Webb captures images of distant galaxies that look warped, stretched, and smeared like funhouse mirrors. This happens because the massive, invisible gravity of dark matter bends the light traveling toward us. Imagine looking through a magnifying glass made of absolutely nothing. The universe is heavily distorted by this unseen dominant force. It destroys the myth that what we see is all there is. We are living in a universe controlled by a dark, heavy phantom. Let us delve into the chemistry of the void. Webb's raw data doesn't just show shapes, it reads the chemical fingerprints of the dark. In the coldest, darkest clouds of interstellar space, the telescope has detected the building blocks of life. It sees frozen water, ammonia, and complex carbon molecules suspended in the absolute freezing vacuum. This is a terrifying and humbling thought. The ingredients that make up your body, the air you breathe, the water you drink, did not originate on Earth. They were forged in the freezing, terrifying dark of deep space, drifting for billions of years before our sun was even born. We are truly, literally, the universe experiencing itself. Witness the chaotic birth of early galaxies. Before James Webb, scientists had a comforting model of how the universe grew. Galaxies were supposed to form slowly, gradually coming together over eons. But the raw data from Webb is tearing that theory apart. In the very early universe, just a few 100 million years after the Big Bang, Webb sees massive, fully formed galaxies. They are far too big, far too bright, and entirely terrifying to astronomers. They are breaking the rules of cosmic evolution. Imagine opening a door into a nursery and finding fully grown adults instead of infants. The universe is far more chaotic, fast, and violent than we ever dared to imagine. It forces us to rewrite our own history. Let us observe the cosmic hourglass. Protostar L1527 provides a staggering raw image. In the dark void, an enormous glowing shape resembling an hourglass dominates the sky. The center is a thin, dark line. This line is a disk of gas and dust feeding a baby star. The top and bottom of the hourglass are vast clouds of material being violently ejected by the star's birth pangs. It is terrifying because it shows that stars do not simply turn on peacefully. They vomit immense amounts of energy and matter into space, destroying anything nearby. The raw infrared light illuminates the edges of this chaos, showing the brutal mechanics of how a solar system is actually built. It is a violent, magnificent engine. Drift into the cold heart of the Milky Way. The center of our own galaxy, is a place of extreme violence and terrifying density. Dust clouds block our view, but Webb's raw images penetrate the core. Here, stars are packed together 1,000,000 times closer than in our part of the galaxy. Imagine looking up at a night sky filled entirely with blinding suns, with almost no darkness between them. The raw data shows chaotic tendrils of hot gas swirling around a supermassive black hole. The radiation here is so intense it would instantly sterilize any planet. It shatters the myth of a quiet, stable galaxy. The center of our home is a raging, terrifying storm of gravity and light. Consider the silence of the vacuum captured in these images. When you look at the raw, black and white data of exploding stars and crashing galaxies, your brain expects a deafening roar. But there is no sound in space. The sheer, terrifying scale of these events happens in absolute, perfect silence. Imagine the Tarantula Nebula, a structure trillions of miles wide, burning with the light of millions of suns, tearing itself apart. And yet, if you were floating right next to it, you would hear absolutely nothing, just your own heartbeat. This deep disconnect between violent visual power and total acoustic silence makes the Webb images deeply hypnotic and profoundly terrifying. Let us examine the geometry of chaos. Look closely at the raw images of the Cassiopeia A supernova remnant. This is the shattered corpse of a massive star that exploded a few hundred years ago. In visible light, it is faint, but Webb's infrared data shows it as a terrifying tangled web of neon-like gas glowing furiously. It does not look like a smooth bubble. It looks like a shattered piece of glass, full of jagged edges, dense knots, and uneven filaments. This reveals that the explosion was not perfectly symmetrical. The star ripped itself apart unevenly, throwing out clumps of heavy metals like titanium and iron. The raw data is a glowing, messy crime scene of stellar death, painting the dark with the ashes of a giant. We must not forget the wandering comets of our own system. Webb recently captured raw images of Comet Reed in the main asteroid belt. Usually, comets only grow glowing tails of gas when they get very close to the warm sun. But Webb found this comet surrounded by a halo of water vapor far out in the freezing asteroid belt. It is terrifying because it means our solar system is holding on to ancient water in places we thought were bone dry. The raw image looks like a tiny, blurry ghost moving among the sharp, bright stars. It reminds us that our own cosmic neighborhood is still full of surprises, hiding ancient, freezing secrets in the shadows. Think about the sheer amount of invisible light. The raw images we receive from Webb are technically invisible. Our brains cannot process the raw infrared data. We have to translate it into visible light just to comprehend it. This means the universe is overwhelmingly full of energy, colors, and light that humans will never naturally experience. It is a terrifying realization. We are blind to the vast majority of the cosmos. We live in a narrow, tiny spectrum of light. The Webb telescope is like a pair of magical glasses that suddenly let us see the true, overwhelming, blinding reality of the universe. It shows us that reality is far bigger than human perception. Let us face the edge of the observable. The deepest raw images from Webb are pushing right up against the cosmic dawn. The light from these tiny red smears has traveled for over 13.5 billion years. But what is truly terrifying is what lies beyond them. Nothing. Not empty space, but the literal edge of our ability to see. Because the universe is expanding, light from beyond that point will never, ever reach us. Webb's raw images show us a hard boundary, a horizon. It shatters the myth that we can eventually see everything. There are parts of the universe moving away from us so fast that they are lost to the dark forever. We are trapped in a giant expanding bubble. Observe the dance of the dying twins. In the raw images of planetary nebulas, we sometimes see two stars at the center instead of one. These are binary systems, locked together in their final days. One star has already died, blowing off its gas, while the other continues to orbit within the expanding shell. The raw data shows intricate, sweeping patterns in the gas, caused by the surviving star stirring up the ashes of its dead partner. It is a terrifying, beautiful waltz. Imagine living your entire life orbiting the glowing, expanding corpse of your closest companion. The cosmos is full of these quiet, tragic relationships, playing out over millions of years in the freezing void. Let us consider the dust itself. We think of dust as a nuisance on Earth, but in the raw Webb images, cosmic dust is the most powerful substance in the universe. It is the raw material of planets, moons, and people. Webb sees this dust glowing brilliantly in the dark. Without this terrifying, crushing darkness filled with heavy dust, there would be no planets. There would be no solid ground to stand on. The massive clouds of dust look like terrifying, dark monsters blocking the starlight, but they are actually the wombs of the universe. Embracing the Webb images means learning to love the dark, heavy, dirty dust of space, for it is exactly what we are made of. Imagine the eventual fate of all this fire. Webb's raw images show a universe buzzing with violent activity, star births, and galaxy collisions. But by looking deep into the infrared, scientists also see the long-term trend. The universe is expanding, and it is cooling down. The terrifying reality is that one day, trillions of years from now, star formation will cease. The massive galaxies will slowly fade into darkness. The raw data shows us a universe in its energetic prime, but it also hints at the final, cold silence to come. It is a beautiful terror. We happen to exist right now in the exact era where the universe is glowing, vibrant, and visible. Finally, let us find peace in this cosmic terror. The raw, terrifying scale of the James Webb images can make us feel incredibly small. When you look at an image containing thousands of galaxies, each with billions of stars, human life seems insignificant. But there is profound peace in this insignificance. If the universe is this vast, this ancient, and this terrifyingly beautiful, then our everyday anxieties are truly weightless. The cosmic cliffs, the dying stars, and the phantom galaxies do not care about our stress. They simply exist, spinning in the dark, dancing to the silent music of gravity. We are a part of this immense, terrifying, beautiful machine, and simply being able to witness it is a miracle. As our journey through the raw, terrifying beauty of the James Webb Space Telescope comes to a close, take a deep breath. Feel the gravity of the Earth holding you safely in your seat. We have stared into the deepest oceans of darkness. We have witnessed the violent birth of stars, the silent death of galaxies, and the colossal phantoms of the deep. The universe is vast, uncaring, and filled with terrifying power. Yet, it is precisely this terrifying scale that makes our small, quiet planet so deeply precious. We are the universe's way of observing itself, and there is profound peace in that realization. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the dark. If you found calm within the cosmic terror, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Tell me in the comments, which of these deep space discoveries terrified or amazed you the most?